Folks, Singles Awareness Day is but 2 moons away. And for those like me who will be celebrating alone, I've got a proposition for ya. Why should we make love when we can make war? With a little help, of course. For you see, I have not seen anything indicating an official marking of the day by Clay, so I thought I'd attract the help of Long Yin, Karas, and Yu Shong to bring you some legendary gifts for Valentine's Day, everyone. Part 1 and 2 to boot. There is a lot to cover, as you can see, and it feels like someone's trying to make things up to someone with how many gifts there actually are. But I, myself, only have one thing to ask. Will you be my Valentine? Because if not, I literally just faced down inevitable death within the end times for nothing, and let me tell ya, that would be a heartbreaker. But in all seriousness, we need roses, and the only way to get them initially is to make it to and defeat the ancient heralds of Hamlet's apocalypse. Each harbinger of death will drop a decent set of new rose petals, and while you yourself could eat them, sure, I highly recommend only feeding them to birds from here on out. And why is that? Well, because it will be the only way to get rose seeds, which means birds are the only way to get more roses. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, there's still some groundwork to note, like how fragments of masks can be found via smashing pots in ancient pig ruins, and no, I'm not joking, they are called smashing pots, so smash them pots. To continue, one can create something called the Eye of the Rose during an apocalypse by placing rose petals around a deerclop's eyeball within a wooden chest. And even though Beardo was an idiot and completely forgot he was playing Wilbur, so he couldn't actually equip the dang thing, he did still do some testing later and still couldn't discover what this thing actually did, so yeah. Hey man, sometimes love is a mystery, and sometimes it burns so flippin' hot that one doesn't even realize how much they're actually sacrificing for it. For example, sincere hearts here, materials that will be needed for many crafts to follow, require the smelting of roses, thulsite chunks, alloy, and obsidian all in one, which is absolutely crazy expensive in the long run. So is love worth it? Is war? I don't know, but I do know that before I make either, I'm going whining and dining, folks. So may I suggest we partake in some rose wine and its 10 hunger, 20 sanity, 60 health, and insanely long-lasting speed boost that is surely gonna help later on this evening. So much so that we can cool down later with some rose ice cream if needed with its 10 hunger, 60 sanity, and 20 health if your heart desires. Or if you truly do want an actual meal, there's always rose soup. Rose soup that is primarily made via fish and is called smart soup for some reason, but hey, to each their own. It's got decent stat regens and really great bonuses to boot, so win-win. But enough flattery, it's time for murder, folks. One issue, however. I could not find where or how to craft any of these rose things to save my marriage. I don't know if I'm just dumb or completely missing something obvious, but as far as I can tell, we need creative mode to access them, so be aware of that. Still, if you can do this legit like, you should also be aware that these actual rose flowers here will be needed to refuel and reload a lot of what's to come. But without further ado, let's shoot stuff. And the first totally not ill-advised gift to give to your loved ones is the Rose Lover rifle here, coupled with its Rose Lover bullets. As you can and will see, everything in this mod is unbelievably expensive. But given how powerful they actually are, I honestly guess that's no surprise. The rifle here has its own UI, which I didn't expect, deals 250 damage a shot, has an area of effect blast to it, and has insane range if you let it. Yup, it's a gun. But what's that saying, folks? Ah yes, size matters. Say hello to the Rose Bloom launcher, everyone, and its breakup bomb ammo. You want your lover's attention? This thing's gonna get it. Feel free to use regular and or obsidian coconades from Don't Starve Shipwrecked if you wish, and be ready to be able to nuke anything from orbit with practically zero repercussions from miles away. But if even that's not enough to get through that daft head of his, ladies, I suggest the breakup bombs. Yeah. If that don't get him to confess his unconditional love to ya, I don't know what will. But speaking of, gents, why not still make it up to her by getting a lovely bouquet of roses here? A bouquet that literally sheds hearts, grants you a 38% speed boost to help get them to her quickly, and one that charges in combat, leading to 300 damage per hit potentially. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that's implying, but hey, I'll take it as love hits hard. And true love should always find a way to coexist no matter what. And nothing depicts that better than the Symbiosis wand here. If you right click, it will freeze anything around ya, and if you left click, it's gonna burn it all down. Yup. Simple enough. And now I want something like it for realsies after today. We've also got a rose boomerang that isn't the most expensive thing I've ever bloody seen for some reason, but that don't make it any less dangerous to use, both for you and your enemies. Throw it, and it will automatically bounce between a seemingly infinite amount of mobs before returning to you, so you best be ready to catch it, otherwise Valentine's Day is going to be even more painful than usual. But make note, if you're using the thing against spiders, it deals even more damage. But remember now, you don't have to face the pain alone. Beardo's here for ya, and if that's not your fancy, and I don't blame ya, then why not enslave some poor innocent creatures within a pursuing ball to keep and to love and to totally not abuse them in any way, shape, or form in creature-on-creature combat for an eternity, folks. They're Pokeballs. Literally just Pokeballs. But if it's more of a human interaction that you seek, then be sure to fall in love with the Rose Scroll here. Using one will spawn in a fully automatic, AI-driven survivor that will follow us anywhere, carry our burdens, and cook us breakfast each and every morning without fail. And once again, I'm not too sure what any of this is implying, so moving on. Moving on to Skyrim, apparently, as even after all these years, even while we sit in a totally different game from it, we cannot escape Skyrim, everyone. 5 ancient masks await our faces, and each do their own bloody thing, like how the Loki mask here turns us into a literal giant tornado that absolutely wrecks structures, but doesn't honestly do all that much damage to mobs, so that's kinda neat, honestly. If you can manage the sanity, that is. The Volsung mask turns us invisible to help hide us from mobs, but only up until a mob discovers us by being too close to us, so make note there. The Sif mask automatically harvests stuff, but also really only specific stuff, while also kind of flipping over stones too, so to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what this mask does at the end of the day. The Nicola mask is bonkers powerful, as it life drains everything in an absolutely huge radius around us to heal us over time, all the while rapidly draining your sanity, but since the mask stun locks everything in its place, that doesn't even matter. And finally, the Tur mask grants you a 100% increase to your damage, but in return, you will now take 100% more damage too. Note that all masks can be refueled with roses, and I have no idea why any of these masks are included in a rose mod all about Valentine's Day, but hey, they're really cool nonetheless. Now, I do say that knowing that we are literally about to become Iron Man right this minute, but come on now. It's Iron Man. I'll take him over Skyrim any day. The Rose Mark 999 helmet and armor are a thing, folks, requiring a Rose energy core to fuel, mind you, but both are not armor at the end of the day. The helmet will protect us against every debuff in the game, practically all weather effects, and can even switch between bat sonar and mole vision on the fly. But again, it's not armor. The armor is armor that will protect against 96% of incoming damage, will also be in a backpack, and also highly resistant to the weather too. In short, suit up. Oh, There's also a huge Iron Man chest too, so enjoy your walk-in closet, ladies. But to wrap up a lovely day, a few last crafts. The Rose Trash Bin turns anything you don't want into sanity instantly. The Rose Fire Pit is an even crazier obsidian fire pit from Shipwrecked that needs roses specifically to provide insane light. The Rose Tool is literally every tool in the game and is work efficient, if you know what I mean. Refuelable via roses too, mind you. And finally, the Rose Crown is just a light-given crown that translates mats for some reason, and I have no idea why. But yep. That's all she wrote. And there you have it, everyone. A Valentine's Day special that didn't even come out on Valentine's Day because not only is Beard special, he loves you guys so much that he simply couldn't contain himself. But thanks again to Longin, Karas, and Yu Shang for all of your hard work on just a really fun set of overpowered items to help me spread some affection here today. And I send my best to each and every one of you out there watching. Happy Valentines. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.